almost 3 years, a friend of mine that I was mentoring down in Fayetteville. I was a discipleship pastor there at a church in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and been mentoring with him. He started to feel that God was calling him and his family to go on mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had heard about the work that was going on in South Florida with the church planting residency at Family Church in West Palm Beach. And so he came down and started that residency. And while he was going through that residency, like any good person who's mentoring someone else, I'm watching what he's doing, seeing what he's reading, looking at the videos, instruction videos that they're sharing. And I started vicariously learning as he was learning and going through that same process of talking about training for trainers, making disciples, the movement type process. And this was all new for me. I had been in youth ministry and in discipleship pastoring. And I had taught a lot about the need and the necessity to go out and to share the gospel, but had not actively done so. I'd done a lot of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
During that same time, I was working as a teacher at a Christian school. Did that for about 14 years. So over 20 some years of teaching in school and in churches, teaching, and then came to understand the difference between teaching and training. And so when I started seeing all this taking place with my friend Paul, I was like, okay, I need to go down there and see what's happening.
Mm.
So I made a few visits over the next couple of summers. I'd just come down for a short trip, see what's happening, met some of the people, talked to them about the what's happening. And I was like, okay, this is a big part of what I've been looking for, trying to move me towards more of a movement type of process that I know is what God has called all of us to do. And this is where I need to be heading as well, personally, but also in the aspect of being able to truly train others to do the same. And so through that process, I eventually ended up getting in contact with Troy Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the culprit in most of these things.
Yes. Troy loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life, Kevin.
Yes, that's about how it came apart. It's about how it came about whenever I talked with him. And I started following him on Facebook. And when you do that, you get connected to everyone that's in this movement, especially the NoPlaceLeft movement. You get connected to all of those individuals. And then I started seeing all their stories.
Mm.
There is nothing more powerful than a harvest story.
Yeah.
That's the reality. And I started seeing those stories and seeing what was happening. And I was like, okay, this is it. I had already felt God leading me to come down here to South Florida anyway, initially to work with my buddy and the church start that he was working on. And I was just going to work bivocational.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing was coming together in that aspect. And then one day I saw a post on Facebook from Troy, and he was asking for anyone that was interested in coming down to work as a catalyst missionary in South Florida to get in touch with him. And so Paul, my buddy, actually saw that first, and he said, "Did you see Troy's post?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You need to go look at it." And so I went and looked at it, and I called Troy that day and started sharing with him about what God had on my heart, that I knew that I was coming down here. Just didn't know what the big picture was. And he shared with me some of the work that was going on here even more in depth. And then he made this one statement. He said, "If you give me the green light, we'll go forward with this." And I said, "Green light."
Wow.
And that, Steve, was the beginning of an incredible, so far, journey in obedience. That is the word that I've learned the most in being here, is the process of being obedient to what God has called you to do. I knew it many, many years ago. In many ways was running from it, finally got to where I understood that this is what we're called to, is to live a life of obedience. And then whenever he started me on that journey with coming on with E3 partners, God just started putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. And then I came to this conclusion. I was coming to South Florida at first with a kind of a smaller vision.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a good thing to come and work with a church plant down here to help them grow. And then God showed me that he wanted to broaden that vision. And so Troy told me, he says, what if you could come down, help your friend in his church plant, but do a whole lot more?
Mm.
And when he said a whole lot more, I was like, wow, this is something I think God would have me to do. And so I'm able at this point to be helping out with my friend's church plant, because he's part of the work going on down here, but also a whole lot more.
Tell us about the whole lot more.
The whole lot more is just the aspect of the freedom. That was a big word, and a big word that Troy likes to use. He tells me all the time, Kevin, you're free.
Mm.
That's major.
Mm.
Because you're able to look out at what's going on in the world. You're able to be out there on the streets every day. You're able to speak to people. You're able to share with them the gospel of Jesus Christ. You're then able to start meeting with them, sometimes even on a one-on-one basis, and then start seeing that begin to move itself into the formation of a church that's coming together, and their DNA at the very beginning is to reproduce. And so, at this point right now, I have church starts that are in the Haitian community. I have in the recovery community. I've got one that is at a halfway house here, because recovery addiction is a large part of what goes on in South Florida. And he is just honestly opening up, those doors left and right. One of the biggest things that happened within that the 30-day period, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, was the formation of a team starting to come together. Because out in the harvest, I came into contact with other believers that felt the same way and wanted to be on mission. And so they've been going out with me, training with me, out in the harvest with me. It's amazing. You would never thought that this would happen so quickly.
You went out and you encountered some believers.
Yes.
And then recruited them to your team.
Yes. We started, and these things happen as God plans them, because there's no way I planned that.
Yeah.
He introduced me, he led me to people, and then now these people are like right there with me all along the way. The way we work it is, if I'm out, because the rest of these guys, they all have full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they'll do is they know that the times when I'm out in the harvest, and when they have some free time or they're off work, they send me a text and they say, "Where are you?"
Right.
And then they can join me.
Yeah.
Or we have scheduled times during the week when I know they're off, and then they go out and they join me. We're doing it this afternoon. Going out with a group into an area out here. So God is just expanding it, and he's also helping me to be able to find my way to like-minded people who also want to be called on mission. And so he's given me a chance to get them trained out in the harvest. That's important. We're not doing the training sitting inside of a classroom.
Yeah.
We're doing the training out in the harvest, which is the best place for training to take place, is out in the harvest. And once they, their initial time out in the harvest, once they saw this, because for many of them, it was the first, well, actually for all of them, it was the first time they had ever been out in their communities. One of them even came, back sharing, "This is the first time I've ever led anyone to Christ." And one of the guys that goes out with me, his name is Emil. He is a 21-year-old Haitian and American, and he went out, and his first time he shared the three circles, he came back and he was like, I had all these fears and there was no reason. he said, this is the simplest way to share. And so that's what I mean by, the assisting my friend with his church plant, but a whole lot more, because honestly, Steve, every day, there's other opportunities that come up, and you can never guess what they'll be or how God will form them. But I think the key in that is just being obedient to go out and harvest. My background, of course, has a lot of pastors in it. And so I do a lot of posting on Facebook, like crazy, because I want people to see the stories. And what's happening is even some of those pastors, friends of mine, are seeing that, and they're like, what are you doing? Send me information on this. I want to know more about, this type of outreach and training and all. And so it's kind of moving from that standpoint. Another friend of mine that was from the church that I'm coming from in Fayetteville, he started following what was going on. And long story short, he has now gone through the process with E3, and he is going to be going to Denver for seminary, but also working with NoPlaceLeft there. And all of this has taken place in just a couple of months.
So we should back up and
I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, no, this is good. So you joined E3 as your mission agency because you're a missionary to South Florida.
Yes.
And it sounds like you also took on the lifestyle of a missionary.
Yes.
Instead of thinking, well, I'm a pastor, I should just hang out at church. You put it that you just assumed there is no church. I'm going to get into the harvest.
Yes.
You've mentioned this 30-day thing. What was that?
It was a blessing. That's what it was, and is. When I got here, I was told by Troy and the rest of the group that for the first 30 days, I was basically to do nothing but harvest work.
Okay.
I wasn't to associate, because I also do some work with some legacy churches.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not to associate with the legacy churches. I was not to attend our team church, which is our E3 team church. I was not supposed to do anything except for me to go out in the harvest. And so that's what my time was divided among my learning time, my personal devotional time, and harvest time. And there was to be nothing else.
Okay. So they banned you from going to church.
Yes.
What sort of cult is this Troy Cooper? Well, what did it look like?
The very first week.
Yeah. What was the first week like?
The very first
week. This is sort of this. Your job is to be in the harvest.
Yes.
Okay.
So the very first week of the 30 days, by the end of that week, I was meeting with a church start. Yes, okay. In 1 week.
Tell us that story.
Okay. I stepped out. What they did is each day they would give me one person to harvest with.
Yeah.
From at the beginning, it was from the rest of the E3 team. And then later on, I went out with some from legacy churches.
So whenever possible, you had someone with you?
Always.
Always. Great.
I would do individual solo harvesting, but I would do that like in open areas like the park.
Yeah.
Or a coffee shop or something like that. But if it was in a neighborhood, more like your door-to-door type thing, it was always at least two. And so the very first time I went out on the harvest, I was with Corey Rasco. And we went out. I opened up the door to my apartment. There were two people sitting outside of my next door neighbor's house, whom I had not even met yet. And we engaged them in a gospel conversation, shared the 3 circles, and spent a few hours with them. In the process of all that, helping to answer some of their questions. And these were from the recovery segment as well. in the process of answering their questions and spending the time with them, by the end of the day, we had 2 baptisms. We had gone through the 411. We had 2 baptisms, all within that 1 day period, because we went through the 3 circles, got all the way to the point where we asked them, where they see themselves in God's design or in brokenness, and they said brokenness. We took it from there. We asked them, was there anything keeping them from accepting, what Christ had come to bring them to salvation? And they said, no. And so my very first day, 30 days.
Your very first step, you opened the door, stepped outside, and there they were.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can't make this stuff up, Steve. That's impossible. That's God stuff. And so Troy happened to be in the area because I live about 50 minutes from the rest of the E3 guys. Mm-hmm. But Troy happened to be in the area. He hears what's going on. He comes down to join us. I'm sharing the 411, which is what we share with a believer or a Christian initially, that kind of gets them a kickstart into the process of, you're also called to be an ambassador for Christ.
So you've just baptized these folks, and you're training them in how to make disciples.
Yes. And this is still the first day.
Yeah. I think you could have knocked off for the rest of the week. You've just achieved.
No. It was just getting started.
Okay.
And so then Troy comes by. He is present while I'm training them in the 411. The first time I'd ever done the 411 was with them. And Troy is Facebook Living it.
Okay.
He loves to do that too.
Yes.
So he's doing a Facebook Live of the first time I ever shared the 411 with 2 individuals who had just been baptized as believers on the very first day of me being in the harvest.
Wow.
Okay, it doesn't end there.
Okay.
The best friend of these 2 who had accepted Christ and been baptized comes home from work. We're actually inside of his apartment.
Okay.
Okay. He's never seen us before. He comes in and he sees us. And hey, nice to meet you. We just, your 2 friends here just accepted Christ today and have been baptized, and we're going through some training with them. And so the friend of theirs then starts listening to what we're sharing. And then we ask him, is there anything keeping him from being baptized, accepting Christ and being baptized? And he said no. So we went back out to, we baptized him in a hot tub, by the way, where I live. So we went back to the hot tub.
Bit more roomy than a bathtub.
Yeah, a bit more roomy, yes. And a nice view outside. We went back to the same hot tub that the 2 of them had been baptized in. And then they baptized their friend.
Wow.
These were 3 baptisms in the first day of the harvest. And so then the next thing we do after that is we start the commands of Christ. So we started the commands of Christ that Sunday of the same week. And I had my first church start that very same week.
What I love about this is when you go out in the harvest, you will see amazing things.
Yes.
But you've also gone from that amazing encounter with God in the harvest straight into the fulfillment, because people forget the end game is disciples and church formation.
Yes.
And you knew what to do each step.
Yes.
With just a household of people.
And the reason I knew what to do, honestly, is the training. That training, and then it's so clear. It's so clear. They took the time to, and they always do in the training, we take the time to make sure that we spell out exactly what is the structure.
Yeah.
When do you do what? And then entering into that discipleship starting discipleship with them is, the main point of what we're about.
And are they still going on with discipleship and church?
Yes. Well, yes, they're from the recovery.
Yeah.
I will share this.
Yeah.
They're from the recovery segment. So at this point, we had to halt the discipleship because they're going through treatment.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and that's normal down here. And so they're through that process, going through treatment. And as soon as they get back out, we'll start back. We had gone through, before they went to treatment, we were on, I believe we had started Command 6.
Okay.
Which is very good. So
now we can't go through every, there's 29 more days, Kevin. But,
I'll give you gist.
Give us another story.
We went out into a Haitian restaurant. It was me and one of the E3 guys, Jonathan, and we were sharing with people there in the Haitian restaurant. One guy whose name is Pompano, his last name is Pompano, we call him Pompano, who's also Haitian. He was overhearing our conversation. He approaches us and says that this is what he had been praying for, or what God had been placing on his heart. He started meeting with me, going through the commands in Starbucks. And then we moved from Starbucks to meeting here where I stay. And we have a church start that has begun in the clubhouse where I stay. So we do it out in the open where everybody can see. He started coming to that, and then he started going out with me in the harvest a whole lot. He's actually going out with me today in the harvest. And so we met him just in a restaurant, overhearing a conversation. He then takes on this understanding of ambassador. He is now going out with me in the harvest. He's sharing the 3 circles. I think the most lovely thing was one day we went out into a park area in Lake Worth, near where I live, and I was engaged in a gospel conversation with one man. And then I turn around and Pompano is not there. Pompano had engaged in another gospel conversation, his first one by himself, with the guy that was right in front of me. And I walked over and he was sharing the 3 circles. The very first time he had ever shared them by himself without any initiative from me. I didn't have to look at him and say, Pompano, can you please go and engage this man over here? He went on his own. And did
was the other guy a Haitian?
No, he wasn't. Which it's just amazing. There's just so many of these stories, and it's just the biggest thing is if people will get out on the streets, if they will get out on the streets and start engaging people, God is going to bring the increase. You've got to get out of your mind these ideas that I don't know what to say, or I'm afraid, or God will send you to the people that He's prepared. Not every single situation is going to be a green light. You're going to have to deal with yellow lights that end up not following through. Yeah. You're going to have to deal with red lights that are not interested. But you just keep going. Yeah. And you're going to have to go through a lot of gospel conversations to find those people of peace, and to find those houses of peace. And then God's going to start doing everything else around you. There's no way you can second guess it. You should never look at an individual and assume that they're not going to listen. The very first 2 people that I just shared the long story about them with, they are totally covered in tattoos. Yeah. Recovery segment. If you were initially to look at them, they might be a little scary to you. Yeah. But they're probably some of the best people I've ever met. And God let me see that the very first day. Yeah. And that, I think, helped me to make sure that I just share with whomever. I don't sit there and say, oh, I don't think this person will listen, or I'm scared of this person.
You don't say no for them.
No, I do not. You don't know. A lot of the people I engage are people, like I said, that are struggling with addiction. There was one man that we engaged one day, and he was a very tall guy, very initially scary looking, to be honest. And I knew that he, at that moment, was under the influence.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell. We went over and approached him. I asked him, was there, I told him we were in the neighborhood and we were praying for people. Was there anything I could pray for him about? And initially, he was just like, acted like he didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And he started to move away. And then I looked at him and I asked this question: what has a hold of you?
Wow. And
when I said that, Steve, he bent over and he put his hands out to the side and he says, I need to be free. That is the truth. And it was me and another guy named Robbie that was with me. Robbie Christmas.
Yeah.
You may have come across him. We sat there and we prayed intensely for that man, because when he did that, it was like that demonic oppression, or whatever it was, he understood it and he needed to be free. And since then, I've met him on numerous occasions, and we've honestly become, close. He, at this point, is also in recovery, which is awesome. Someone finally, was able to get him into a place where he could be. But when he just looked at me and he said, I want to be free.
Yeah.
I want to be free. And then on the subsequent times in which I've met him out in the park, we've just sat there and prayed. Because each of these segments, he was from the recovery, but it was also from the homeless segment.
Yeah.
He was addicted and homeless. Each of those you end up having to deal with in a very particular way, and you have to let God lead that. Yes. So for me, a lot of times with the homeless population, which is huge down here as well, it is many times a ministry of prayer. Just checking on them, going by and praying with them. I've shared the 3 circles with them.
Yeah.
You can do some level of discipleship, but they're so transient, they move so much. When you catch them and you see them, a lot of times it's just prayer.
Yeah.
So just so many stories. Yeah. The first month, I think I had 86 gospel shares. That was the formation at that point. After the 30 days, I had Pompano, who has come on board with me as, I call them harvesters. All the term. They come out with me. Emil, who's also Haitian, who goes out with me. Stuart, who's another guy that goes out with me in the harvest. Paul, just a number of these individuals that are, coming together after that 30-day period that continue to be with me in the harvest. So that was definitely an outcome of it. The other was just you identify immediately with brokenness. So when I walk out in the Haitian communities, they recognize me because they've seen me out there, which is very good. So there is that connection that takes place. Same thing happens when I'm out in the park areas because they recognize me. So that connection was made. The church starts themselves that are continuing was a process of that 30 days. But I think the biggest is just the overall mindset that this is who you are. This is your identity, and you're called to bring others along with you. I think honestly that formation and the continued formation of that team, that harvesting team, that has now made this a part of their life.
Yeah, that's the unexpected outcome for me, hearing the story, that normally we recruit the team and then try and somehow get in the harvest. You just got in the harvest and
that formed the team.
Bring the team.
Yes, the harvest brought the team. And the formation of the team as a continual unit was brought about by the harvest. So the key to all of this is the harvest time. The key to every bit of this is the harvest time. If you can get people out into the harvest to get them to see what God can do, then that will change what's going on in that person's life. They will see it. And many of these, they may have been individuals who've been in church their entire life, but they had not been out in the harvest. And so when they start seeing that this is what we're called to do, that this is what it looks like, that changes everything in that process. And so now at this point in the ministry, what I've ended up having to do is you have to end up doing a focus of your time. And so now, after this, I started looking at it and I was like, what do I need to be investing my time in? So now, I didn't have to have someone tell me this. Troy is very good at this. Troy does not like to give direct answers, which I appreciate that. When I first got here, I don't know if I appreciated it as much.
Okay. It's a little bit open-ended for you.
Yeah, what he equips. But then if I would go to him and I would say, Troy, what do I need to do? He was very hesitant in telling me, take these steps. He says, find it out for yourself. God will show you what it needs to be. I don't know if there's anything any more wise than that, because otherwise you'll end up creating a duplicate in the sense of you're expecting that every situation is going to follow the same pattern, and it's not.
Yeah, or there are buttons to press and you'll get an outcome.
Your tools remain consistent.
Yeah.
The tools are consistent, but sometimes the formation of things, that's not sometimes, always. That's up to God, because you can't guess these things. So I think the tools are there. They're biblical tools. They're reproducible tools. Anyone can use them to start towards movement. But there's also going to have to be that aspect of the unknown, where God is saying, just get out there and do, and the rest of this will come together. Yeah. Just get out there and do, and the rest of this will come together.
So you needed some basic training.
Yes.
You needed some partners.
Yes.
You're not going out alone. You needed not to feel like you had all the answers, but to expect that God by His Spirit would guide.
Yes.
Now imagine you've raised full-time missionary support, but someone listening to this who works a normal job, they may not have the hours you have in the day, but they could commit a month to and drop in some regular times.
Yes.
Of being out in the harvest. So you needed to have consistent time in the harvest.
Yes.
And then in the early part, I'm just sort of reflecting back, but in the early part, it's like the pre-existing team 50 minutes away will support me and come out with me.
Yes.
But you discovered that the workers are in the harvest as well as those who...
Everything is in the harvest.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything's in the harvest. The Troy and the rest of the team, we have this little phrase, the resources are in the harvest. One aspect of this 30 days was I got to a certain point where I had so many follow-ups in the harvest that at that point I was like, oh guys, I got to stop going out in the harvest because I can't keep up.
You've got too many houses of peace.
I had too many houses.
Jesus said, stop moving around. And make a disciple. Yeah.
Yes. And so then I had to stop, and I had to start moving into the follow-up aspect. So basically I saw a pattern: harvest, follow-up, church gatherings, training. And even to this day, that's the weekly rhythm that I follow: harvest, follow-up, church gatherings, training. Like after I leave this interview with you, I have 2 church starts today, back to back, and I'm taking Emil with me because one, they're in the Haitian community. He's Haitian American, and so, but the other is he needs to see how church gatherings, or how the 3/3 process unfolds. He needs more practice in seeing that, and then working towards him taking over some of the aspects of those 3/3. So you're training all the time.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing, because you quickly see there's no way that you can do this on your own, and it would be a very poor job if you attempted to do it on your own, because that's not